Hey, kitty girls, it's Sunday, March 20th, 2025, and welcome to Cubs Out Loud Drag Race T-Time, where we are going to be discussing the current season 17 episodes of Charisma, Uniqueness, Nerve and Talent, Monologues, and Drag Baby Mamas. Episodes 12 and 13 of the most recent American series. For those of you that don't know who we are, my name's Gary, and with me is the ever fabulous co-host.
Hello, everyone. It's Damon. Welcome. I am feeling much better now.
And only the patrons understand what that means. So, yes, we're going to jump in and talk about the most recent two episodes where we had improv, question mark, and spoken word and like artistic creativity, but working in duos. So that was a whole thing. Some people got PTSD from All-Star Season 1, and then too soon. And then we move on to the most recent episode where we get the infamous drag makeovers have returned. So, if you are ready, Damon, we'll jump into our first segment.
Let's do it.
Racers, start your engines, and may the best drag queen win.
Unless you have bursitis and you can't lift your arm, but heavy is the hand, apparently.
I'm just waiting for her to just like not even like at the hip, just best woman win, just like say it and just be like that.
And just stand there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or best drag queen, excuse me, best drag queen.
Yes, very much so. All right, so put the pedal to the metal. Our first segment here, we're going to talk about three particular areas: serves, swerves, and nerves. Serves are the positive things that happen within these episodes of the Drag Race. Swerves are those road hazards you probably should have avoided. And that's getting much more apparent as we're down to our final five situation. And then we've got nerve. As in, Mama, you got nerve, and it is positive stuff, or what the fuck were you thinking?
It take nerve.
It do take nerve, and not in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, Damon, what are you giving serves for?
Sure. So for episode 12, I put down reality check.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason, and it's basically going all the way back to like the beginning of the episode where they're talking about like how everyone voted or how everyone answered the question, who should go home tonight or who deserves to go home tonight and why.
Mm-hmm.
And I am very appreciative of the fact that I think it was Anya that was like, hey y'all, like that's not the answer to the question is sending home your competition. That's a bullshit answer. I'm just gonna say it right now. That is the cop out bullshit answer. You are literally serving whoever you say as the winner of the show is what you're doing when you say that. And as we saw, it went to Susie and Susie's head a little bit. I'm just gonna put it out there. And I appreciated the reality check. Who deserves to go home? I get that you don't want to be comfortable, or you have to live with that after you go off stage and what have you. But reality is, Rue wants you to answer the question honestly, and she doesn't want you to say like, oh no, I want my best competition to go home. That person's not going to go home. Like that, right? Like that's just not going to happen. So maybe say to people you want to say to go home.
I just think it's funny because what I'm getting from you is that you're channeling Heidi in Closet in this moment.
Fuck you, and fuck you.
Because it was very much, Anya was like, that is not the question. Like, those are not the answers to the question. And they're all arguing with her. And they're all like, no, it is the answer to the question. It's my answer. How dare you say it's not the answer? And I was just like, okay, kids. Like,
but like the fact that, and I think we talked about it last week, the fact that Brew even said it, like in the judges' like deliberation, I guess it's time to send Susie home, and was laughing about it, you knew. Like, you knew.
Right, Rue even poked fun at the fact that they were so congenial and pageantry in their answer about, like, they all gagged up on one person, basically. And it was like, oh, okay, whatever.
Okay. I guess I'll send Susie home. Like, fuck you. Like,
although it is an interesting tactic when you think about it. If the girls knew the question was coming, it's an interesting tactic to turn it on production, because you don't give them much of anything to go off of.
True.
So the only thing we get is them squabbling at the beginning of the episode, which is what we're talking about here, which is, to me, really funny, because we're like, right, we're both on your side. We're like, that's not what that was about.
That's not the way it's about.
Thanks for playing.
Better luck next time. And then for episode 13, I put validation growth, and this is a very, we were talking about it in pre-show about how just wonderful this episode was, especially with family involved and what have you. And I put this down because of the it wasn't really subtle, but the fact that Lexi's mom was acknowledging her transness and acknowledging her as using she/her pronouns, and was doing it pretty consistently throughout the episode. I know that just was very wonderful to see, because it's not something that we often get to see.
Right.
And to cap on that, just validation and growth, just a fact that all of these parents were showing up for these queens and were there to, like, support them and doing whatever they could to support them, was a pretty amazing moment. So, so yeah, but the Lexi and her mom and the using of the she/her pronouns, and I believe even calling her just Lexi. I don't know. I think we know her dead name, but just like consistently calling her that and doing that in the show was just very wonderful to me. There was even a slip up in Susie's mom where Susie called her by her boy name and went, "Oh, I mean Susie," and I thought that was just, again, acknowledging, validating the work that they're doing and the growth in the parents was all the snaps, all the love, all the serving that it gives.
Yeah. I mean, out of that, the queen that we learned the most about, I think, was Susie.
Right.
There was a lot of confessional talk in the latest episode about the home life situation and the challenges of being different than your parents. I found that very intriguing. Like, it became super obvious how awkward it got. Like, the rest of the parents are very fun, very upbeat, very happy to be there, and Susie's mom is not that. Like I honestly thought, spoiler alert, Susie was going to go home because her mom was just so dynamically different that it was going to portray badly in the performance.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know.
She was very low energy and reserved throughout the entire, like, day or two they had of filming.
Yeah.
She lit up a bit on stage, but in her own way.
Right. Yeah.
And I can somewhat respect that. But again, like Susie was saying, this isn't her thing. This is never her thing, and it's not been her thing. So, yeah. No,
I agree. Very much
Miss
so.
Gary, how about you?
So in episode 12, the monologues, I really thought the Lexi Anya team up was an amazing performance.
Right.
It, unfortunately, out of the 4 sets? 3 sets. 3. Out of the 3 duos, theirs was the example and the others failed. In my opinion. And it's sad because what became very apparent, the theme of Rue's feedback was earnest. Like, this is not the place for earnest, like, or being very earnest or that kind of stuff. And, and so, like, while it's appreciated that there's some honesty on portrayal, like, don't forget this is Drag Race and it's not that serious. So, like, I found it very intriguing that, like, they really threaded the needle on how to tell story and be funny and, like, have seriousness and yet humor about it. And so they delivered pretty well on that. And so and they were kind of an unlikely matchup.
Right.
In a way. And, we saw that there was fallout. Sam's still butthurt about it. And that Lexi made a strategy move.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm calling it what I see it as. I think it was very strategic to be like, you the bitch in the lead, you the one that might win. I'm, like, going to do what I can to benefit from that to carry me forward.
Like, I feel if Lexi could have gone to either Anya or Susie. If she had gone with Susie, I think there would have been a very interesting, like, another, like, interesting play with it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how well it would have gone over.
Right.
But I agree that the girls in this challenge went the more, again, I understand, like, the heartfelt, like, earnest, like, feeling of it all.
Mm-hmm.
But this one needed a little bit of humor. A lot of humor, actually.
I also found it very interesting because I think it was in the pit stop. They made a comment about, like, and it went by so fast, but I thought they really could have talked about it a lot more. It felt like most of the contestants, if not all of them, except for maybe Anya, didn't know what the vagina monologues were, which is what this template is based off of. Like, so if you don't come from a theater background and you're not really into the arts and you're not old enough, you wouldn't remember there was this whole moment where, like, puppetry of the penis was a whole thing. The vagina monologues was a whole thing. Like, it was this very subversive sort of, like, political statement to, like, do these things on stage that are very adult. And the vagina monologues were, like, groundbreaking in that they were telling women's stories honestly and frankly, like, in ways that had never been said before. And so if you knew that from the background, you probably would realize, like, well, shit, girl, like, this is RuPaul's Drag Race. Like, they don't want us, like, sitting here making them weep and cry and, and that kind of stuff. I mean, that happens very rarely. That's not the intent of a challenge. So the intent of a challenge is to have fun. And the way you have fun is to bring light and humor to it. So I think that's what was very interesting about this particular episode is that, like, it feels like 2 of them or 4 of them, and maybe even Lexi a little bit. Like, I think Anya really helped Lexi, but I think Lexi was kind of a part of that camp that was trying to tell a serious story in a way. And I think Anya kind of massaged it a little bit. I mean, obviously her interpretive dance helped a lot, but I think she was trying to help Lexi to understand, like, yes, well, like, I understand that you want to tell this thing, but, like, don't make it so dour. So interesting. And then episode 13, I just said parents. I just thought it was great that the parents showed up. I was not prepared for the reactions, like, of the contestants and then their parents, like, and that whole back and forth. I mean, my God, they all fell apart.
Right.
I mean, just came unhinged.
Yeah.
And honestly, one of the two best moments of the introductions of the parents was when Anya was like, I think she said something like, "You so crazy." Like she made some passing comment about her father, like stunned in disbelief that he was there. Like, and this is after, like, the collapse in the hall and the
Yeah,
crying
yeah.
and the hug or whatever. And then Lexi turns around and she's like, "We don't keep RuPaul waiting" or whatever. Like, I mean,
Oh yeah.
and I was like, I thought that was funny because I was like, oh, I was like, that's a little tea.
That's some, but but where my fact man at? But it is a fact.
Well, yeah, because time is money on production for filming and stuff.
Mhm.
So
They were like, oh, you want to have a moment? Like, we're gonna let y'all have y'all's like cry moment because that's good for TV,
right,
right? But like,
right.
you don't dip it pretty quickly because we can't spend like 10 minutes just like crying. Like, not gonna happen. We
Right.
got work to do.
times 5 because that's a whole hour alone of just
Right.
crying. So
Yeah.
anyways, although I do kind of wonder if they got a chance to have meals. Like,
They had to.
did they get to have lunch together? Maybe dinner? Because good golly, like they were there for 2 days.
They had to
you
have
know,
been there. There
and
had
stuff.
to have been.
It would have been nice
Yeah.
to spend some time. Anyways, moving on. Swerves. Damon, what are you giving swerves for? Sorry, I just read what he wrote.
Where am I? Lana's attempt. It was a valiant effort. Gave it a good college try, but swing and a miss, dear. Swing and a miss. I get what you were going for, and you had a very poignant, like heartfelt and relatable story to tell.
Right.
But it fell very much into the vein of too serious for this show. Excuse me. So it was lost. So her prompt was lost, and I get that, but like it just it came off as I appreciate Lana and I love what she does in a lot of ways, but I have a hard time finding the connection,
Mm-hmm.
like in her connecting to what she's saying,
Right.
and because I don't feel that she's giving it. She's had a lot, like they've talked a lot about her history and her background and all the stuff that she's done and everything that she's like doing for the first time.
Right.
But like it just it felt off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of where it was for me. Um it was a good try, but obviously not good enough.
Yeah.
And I don't think her and Sam on both sides of it, I think really truly prepared, planned, what have you for what they were doing.
Mm.
And again, where they were I think they were going for the more heartfelt, like heartstring tug kind of moments. And especially in Sam's story, that wasn't gonna be the case, I don't
Mm-hmm.
think. So
Yeah.
sorry about it, but not sorry.
Yeah. No, I get
And
it.
then for episode 13, no reveal, it's just a no. Sorry, Jules, love you, but again, like you prepared us for a reveal. You indicated that's what your father wanted to have,
Mm-hmm.
blah blah blah. You gave these big furry coats. Like it made sense that there would be something to happen. Now, seeing what we saw that you had on underneath, I don't think that would have looked as good on, say, your father. So I don't know if that was the reason why you didn't reveal, if that whatever was going on underneath wasn't going to work well for your dad, which is true. I'm okay. I get it. You know, it makes sense. Um, but you come in a big coat of any kind on a drag race stage, we are expecting it to come off because no one wants to be sitting in a fluffy ass coat under stage lights for hours.
Right. Right.
But
Yeah.
anywho,
That's fair.
Gary, I guess.
um. So for swerves, I'm with you on episode 12. I just said Lana, Lana, Lana. This is how I feel now. Like even listening to you just talk about her a moment ago, and thinking back on her performance in the monologues. I'm gonna say something, and I'm saying this with the humor that's intended. Ooh, baby, put it back in the oven. It ain't done yet. She's not fully formed as a queen. She thinks she is. She is not.
Yeah.
I look forward to her coming back on All Stars. But I want her to come back in about 5 years. I want her to fully mature into who she has given us glimpses of. She is Naomi Smalls-esque, as in she is model, like fashion motivated, like wanting to represent. So she has work in that area. I think she has work to be done in terms of her skills with her face. I think that there's just some stuff. It's kind of like introductory, like you're learning to use clay and you just haven't gotten there yet to like actually, cast and create specific items. And I'm not trying to dog on Lana. I just think that sometimes you get a queen who is really skilled, really well put together, and other times you don't. I mean, and this is the thing that I guess that comes to mind is like Saphira was like consummate, like had everything down. Saphira had also been doing this gig for a long ass time. So you kind of expect when a queen hits double digits in the number of years they've been performing and doing gigs and all that kind of stuff, you figure out your own tricks. You know where you stand. You know what your strengths are and all that kind of stuff. And I just don't think Lana has reached that yet.
Yeah. And I just want to I went down because I wanted to see where she was, and I looked at she's like 22 when we were recording this. So I don't know how long she had been doing drag. It didn't look like it had been that long.
Right.
She talked about how she missed her high school prom because of COVID.
Right.
So that puts her at like this weird range where for a couple of years, realistically, you couldn't go out and do things.
Right. She talked about it, I think, in the pit stop about her background and that kind of stuff. I want to say by the time she got to Drag Race, she had been 2 years, maybe.
Yeah. And
maybe 3.
I'm looking now. Let's see if hopefully there's a detail. Hello, Lana. But again, like I look at her and I see like what you see. Like I see a Naomi Smalls in the making. I see like a fashion like skinny queen that can wear pretty much anything. I see that coming. But I also am wondering if she can go a different route. She doesn't appear to be great with the humor. I'm just going to own that. I think she needs a little, like you said, a little more cooking, a little more time in the oven, a little more just like baking to get everything up there. I'm trying to pull her up, and I'm realizing, oh yeah, Jeray is. Oh, that's cute. Random thing. Those are quotes. I need trivia. Oh boy. Okay. Nope. Okay. Yeah. So it's fine. It's just funny. I don't see how long she's been a queen. Lux adopted Lana 1 week after filming season 15. So she may not have been doing much So she was also used to be the drag. I'm looking at her trivia. Hi, y'all.
Right.
We were talking about this earlier. Thank you, RuPaul's Drag Race Wikipedia, wiki. Like Lana used to be the drag race of Plasma. Okay. So you got to put that together and pinpoint like timing wise, like maybe a few years ago. So it's like season 15. Ooh, let's jump to that. When did season 15 film? They don't say when they filmed. Oh well. Anyway, I was hoping it would film, but it must have filmed in 2022. So 2 years ago. We're looking at from when she was adopted per se. It's possible she started before then. We're looking at 2-3 years. She hasn't been a drag queen that long.
Yeah. And that's where I think like that's just bound to show. Not often do I think someone comes into being a performer and kind of checks nearly all the boxes very easily unless they already have a performance background. So like they, did theater, they did stage, they did, expressive arts, something that like gave them a lot of like skills, variety of stuff, confidence, strengths, all that kind of thing. So yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
I just had to update the doc because I realized I wrote things in the wrong order. So okay. For episode 13, I'm giving a swerve for, spoiler alert, final 5.
Oh.
I'm like, what is going on here? I'm not mad about the double save. I'm just confused.
Oh.
But they do say in the preview of the next episode, and that was the funniest part, is that Jules in Confessional is the one that they clip it, and she says, at least one of you is going home. And I was like, don't. But I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't know.
We're there. It's a weird situation
because I feel I still feel like unless something's going to change, there are 2 episodes left. So I don't quite understand what's going to happen.
Or 2 episodes and then
no, 2 episodes. Like in theory, we were supposed to be moving into the reunion and then the finale, but it must not be 2 because they haven't done the whole like who do you vote for, like who do you want to win thing. So I guess it's not a final 5. Like they're doing a rusical.
There's 3. So there's whatever this episode is. So the next episode, because we're going to get to 16. It's always even. It's always been an even number. Just putting it out there.
Okay.
So it's not going to. So this is episode 13. 14 is this next episode where we're going to get like either a final 4 or a final 3, whatever they're going to do. Final 2, I don't care, whatever. If it's final 2, I'm going to be like, yeah, I like that shit. Make it that small. But then final whoever, then reunion, then finale.
Right.
So 3.
Yeah.
Because if they add another one, because if they take it down from 5 to 4, and then 4 to, don't put the middle finger up, 4 to 3.
Yeah.
Then reunion and then reunion, then finale. That's 4 episodes, which puts us at 17 episodes.
But it is season 17, and remember, 17 was the magic number for Vegas.
Oh shit, you're right. Oh no.
Anything's possible. Anyways. So yeah, I just had to call to question the possibility of a final 5. Like, are we going to go into the next episode and then it's going to be this weird, like,
know what's going on either.
Yeah.
That would be like, we've had 5 queens in the finale before, a few times. Actually, not a few, but we've had 5 in oh gosh, it was Angeria's diabetic Willow's season. Willow winning. And I'm just like,
Yeah, there's a part of me that wonders if we're going back to that. If we're going to end up maybe with a top 3, and they get to do the Bob season where they each get a number and a routine and a da 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 like kind of thing. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. We'll see what happens with that.
We'll see.
Anyways, moving on to Nerve. Damon, what are you giving Nerves for?
Sam's ugly dress from episode 12.
No!
It took a lot of nerve to go, this is ugly. This is bad.
Oh, girl.
This is what this runway is for. Taking that couture, pretty fucking like conceptual, high quality dress and going ugly. And not only that, but like putting on your best fucking makeup, putting in like shards in your hair, all that shit. Like you bitch, you knew what you were doing. You just wanted to wear that dress. Like let's just call it what it is. Call it what it is.
Well, I mean, some people did kind of make reference to the fact that some queens. Well, I mean, it relates to this exact episode. Some queens kind of got called out about like wearing or re-wearing other people's items.
Yeah. I just don't think okay, I'm gonna put it like this because it was mentioned on not pissed off on the fashion photo review. Beauty and ugliness is in the eye of the beholder. Um, I love that Raja and Raven, when they were critiquing this episode, were like, none of these are necessarily ugly.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like,
Mm-hmm.
you're kind of right.
Mm-hmm.
Do I agree with that? No. But that's my personal opinion. But you go back to like the reference of this runway. You
Mm-hmm.
go back to that season 7, that like you kind of go, yeah, some of those were pretty ugly. But some of them were not.
Right.
Again, beautiness is in the eye of the beholder. But yeah, just Sam, no, sweet baby child, no, that was not ugly. And if I were the designer that probably made that dress for you, I'd be pissed that you wanted to use that for an ugly dress. Now, unless you told me to make that dress for you and call it quote unquote ugly, and that was the whole point, like if I knew ahead of time that that's what that was going to be, okay, I'm fine with that. I went into it knowing, right? But if you paid for this dress and you decided it was ugly and you wore it for this runway, that's a problem.
Right.
And then Nerve, I'm going to give it to Anya's dad for episode 13. It took a lot of nerve for you to come out here and do what you did. It took a lot of nerve for you to shave that beard. As someone who is follically challenged, I understand losing anything on your face is difficult. It took a lot of nerve for you to take getting pretty much harassed sexually by Law Roach to like you took it in stride and you took it in humor, and I appreciate it very much. But yeah, kudos for you. Good for you. Good on you for doing what you need to do for your child.
Mm-hmm.
You looked really good. I will say that before and after. I will own that. You are a sexy man. Like let me just call it what it is. But you look really good, and I really do appreciate you. Because I don't think a lot of fathers would be willing to go that extra mile like this for this.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a lot, especially like if you had to lose like any facial hair or what have you. I know I get it, hair grows back, but still, like if you're like me, like that beard probably took a year to
Mm-hmm.
grow. Sometimes not always the case, but again, just
Right.
yeah. So it took nerve, Mr. Anya's dad. I also feel like you were willing to like put your own like trauma on the table with the Roberta Banks. Like I I was like, go ahead, go ahead. You go right on ahead.
Yeah, that was something else. I was
I'm
not ready
glad
for that.
I wasn't either. I'm glad you went with uh none your business. I like that name too.
Yes.
But I think Rob Roberta Banks would have been even better.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Mm-hmm. Gary.
Um.
Oh.
So episode 12 turned into therapy time.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of feelings. There was a lot of stuff being put out there. And I was like, it take nerve to do that.
Mm-hmm. I just have so many feelings.
I think it was a positive for the show, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not so sure like it was positive, but like, you know what I mean? Like it was just it was something.
It was something. I think the ideas behind the monologues is where are you going with it? And it's similar to I think they did this well, Bussy mentioned that they did it in All Star, like for one of the All Stars, like All Star 7, I think, 6 or 7. Or 5, whatever, it doesn't matter. One of these All Stars, because there's been a bunch of All Stars too. This is a weird challenge.
Yeah.
This is a weird challenge. I get that you're needing to tell your story, but it's where do you go with it? Do you do like Anya did and go for like the humor,
Right.
or do you go the very kind of serious route and tell a unique story and maybe give it a pleasant, fun spin, or a good, good ending, happy ending kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, it was interesting. And then in episode 13, baby, there was one duo that definitely served up nerve, and that was Sam and Sassy Star. The moment you got to understand and know who Sam Star's mother was, I was like, oh, child, a new contestant has entered the race. I was like, wow. She was, I mean, to be fair, who said it? Was it in Pit Stop? They were talking about the fact that she was wearing 301s when she walked in the room.
Yes, it was Pit Stop.
I clocked that. She walked in and I was like, bitch. I was like, we all could see your fake eyelashes.
Mm-hmm.
We can all see them. Like,
yes.
And I loved that she said to Sam, she's like, I want to be like Dolly Parton. And I was like, oh, here we go. Here we go.
Yep.
So, yeah, like, I thought that took a lot of nerve. And honestly, Sam served it up. Like, there are legitimate questions to be asked about how did Sam have an outfit that fit Mom so well? Like, yes, Sam can sew, but, like, did she already have one outfit and she just made the second one? Did she have no outfits and made both? Did she modify the one of them? I just don't know.
So I looked at the other outfit, the one that Sassy Star was wearing. If you look at the back, it is a corseted outfit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably meant to expand the contrast depending on who's wearing it. So it had the potential to go, I don't know how far out, but it had the potential.
Right.
Looking at it that way, the bottom part that tears away was obviously just like connected, and you
Mhm.
could fit it, to anyone. Uh, Obviously she had real titties, so that helped for the front part. But I think she already had the outfit made and could
Mhm.
have potentially. I'd have to look at it fully again,
Yeah.
but it had the potential to swap. The outfits had a potential to switch.
Yes.
But I feel like Sam had the outfit that she had on made for her, and then
Mhm.
she had this other outfit made for whoever she was going to be, ready for whoever. And did you need to, like Jim was saying, like the panels on the sides of the corset, the bathing suit essentially
Mhm.
could have potentially been a different stretchier material so it could grow out for someone else. Um, it had, looking at it, it had the potential to grow for most people, but the fact that they were so alike, whoever made that outfit that Sam wearing obviously made this one too. Like they made them both, and if Sam did them both, kudos to her. Um, it's a possibility that Sam made it. It's a possibility that Trinity made it for all we know.
That part.
So that's a possibility. And given Sam's very southern like caricature, her going that route for a drag daughter, drag sister, drag mother, whoever it may have been, like would have made sense. So the fact that Sam's mom wanted to go the like Dolly Parton route was like, that's perfect. I already know. Like this is what we're doing. I already had the hats and everything.
Right. No, that does make sense. I do want to throw in a little nugget of something that people don't know. So the thing I wanted to interject is, which is unbeknownst. So, and I didn't know this either. A local drag queen to where I live, named Debbie Does Drag, made the outfits that Anya and her father Nunya wore on the
Oh,
show. Now I know they got a lot of criticism that they
uh-huh.
just didn't seem to make sense. Like Raja and Raven were not fans of them, and like other people have criticized it. But the thing is, Debbie Debbie Does Drag. This drag queen is a comedy queen, so I think she was going for a certain like campy, comedic, like kind of look of stuff. And that is unfortunate that that's how some people are kind of looking at things at the moment. Um, and the irony behind that for me is because Debbie Does Drag just won the National Miss Comedy Queen contest this
Oh
past week
wow.
that she's been
Wow.
competing in for a couple of years. So the irony to me is that she is like rising up in terms of her career and her, skills and recognition on two different platforms in two very different ways. And in
Wow.
one of them, she's probably getting a bunch of criticism, but I'm very proud
Hmm.
of her um, for those achievements. But anyways, yeah, I didn't know that was a thing. Like it was funny because I was scrolling, I was on social media, and out of the blue, she kind of like makes this passing post, and she says, "Oh, well, I made these looks I could finally share." And I was like, "Wait, what?" I was
Nice.
like, "Is she serious?" Um, and so yeah, she ended up making the two outfits, and then
Is
and then
that
this
her?
This made me laugh because she said, "Y'all, La Roach hated my costumes live on air. Glad I made two national award winning gowns, I guess." So she's been making outfits for a while, but that just really made me laugh.
Okay.
Anyways,
Did she? Okay. Sorry, I just went to her Instagram,
mm-hmm.
and one of the first ones is something I've been seeing on TikTok for the past few days. It's the crocheted like gown. Did she fucking make that, or is she just liking it? And I can't look at it because I don't want to sign up for Instagram yet. I genuinely don't want yet another social media platform. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't. Um, but like I can't look at anything on her Instagram because uh, I think it's behind. It must be behind maybe adult. Maybe she's going for the adult kind of thing. But I can see. I am looking at her profile. I can look at her profile on Facebook.
Anyways,
Yeah, but go her.
So that
Good for
being
her.
said, yes, in terms of nerve, Sam and Sassy Star in episode 13 definitely did that.
Random aside.
Yes.
All
Back to our regular scheduled program. Shall we continue on to the next segment?
Yes.
All right.
And see.
All right, it's time for snaps and eye rolls, aka the highs and the lows. These are the hits and the misses that stood out to us that we definitely wanted to draw attention to. So, what do you give it snaps for, David?
So I put down giving it all in the lip sync, and if there were any two really amazing lip syncs for this season, these past two, I will even have been really, really amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So for Sam, this was her first time in the bottom. I'm going back to episode 12. And despite the fact that this is Lana's fourth lip sync, she's also not giving up. And I think that's what made for a really amazing lip sync. They were doing everything. The writing was on the wall for Lana. I'm just going to be honest with you about that. I don't think she could have done anything beyond literally backflipping into the next century, something she had to have done something truly fucking stupendous to survive a fourth lip sync for your life. And then you go to this most recent one. Jules and Anya were just giving it the entire time. I was Jim asked me who do you think won? And I was like, I'm not 100% sure. I gave it to Anya. But I told Jim, I think I'm just doing that because I really like Anya and I don't want her to know. Not that Anya did less than Jules, but they were very much to me neck and neck. They gave their own style. They did all the things. They made it amazing. There was the whole fucking wig kick of Anya. There was a lot going on in that lip sync and these lip syncs in general that were love it, sex, chef's kiss, as it were.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's me.
So I want to give snaps to Rue avoiding disappointment.
Ooh.
Well, because when we got to the end of this latest episode, I was literally, I'm in agreement with you, Damon. That lip sync, I was like, well, there's no winning here.
Right.
Because if you send home the lead fan favorite, I'm saying fan favorite because we're the fans. If you send Anya home, people gonna be pissed. If you send Jules home, her daddy is next door. Their parents are there. And not that they kind of haven't done this before, but I was like, ugh. Man, what a bummer to the end of such an upbeat episode.
Yeah.
Having family there.
Very
So
positive, uplifting episode. Be like,
Right.
and I'm sorry, you're going home.
Correct. So, in a way, I guess I should have seen the writing on the wall that they were gonna do a double Shantae. But I'm gonna give snaps to Rue / production for avoiding disappointment, and just letting it be what it is, so that nobody got the shitty "you're going home and it's because of your parents" thing kind of deal, because I think that was a palpable feeling was that the parents were concerned that they would be a reason that their child wasn't seen as good of a performer.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So I thought that was very strategically good and interesting.
Yeah.
As it turned out.
I'm glad. I am glad that it was a double Shantae. I think it worked in the grand. It's going to work in the grand scheme of things. I do think it would have been weird to send a girl home after this very uplifting.
Right.
But
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So with that said, who are we giving eye rolls to?
I know we've been talking about Lana a lot this episode, so here comes some more talking about Lana. I put down Copy Couture. And again, I'm glad that Drag Race is at a point now where it has the potential to be self-referential.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're in 17 seasons in, it definitely has that. And we've seen a lot of it throughout the season. But it's been rare for a queen to like literally pulling things from other queens' wardrobes and wearing it on the runway. And this was, it just didn't sit well with me because it's not like paying homage or doing your own thing,
right,
or anything along those lines.
Right.
It is literally the same dress.
Right.
And I'm just like, and you did nothing to it. That's the worst part for me.
Well, so this is what it comes down to for me. I think it's disappointing, and it's a cop-out.
Mm-hmm.
Had the runway theme been a twist on the wedding folklore of something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue,
right,
you could only get away with that saying it was borrowed.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
yeah,
that's about it, kids.
It just, and then like this isn't her first time wearing something. Granted, the Naomi Campbell thing was her own interpretation, but it still was a little like copy paste in a way. I know it probably wasn't the exact thing.
Right. I mean, they called her on it. They said it was a replica, and they were like, but it's not dragified.
Yeah.
Like the red baseball cap with like RuPaul's Drag Race or whatever in gold embroidery on it just isn't dragging it up.
Yeah. It just again, I love it. Again, the eye roll for me was that it's just like, I want to see who you are.
Yeah.
This was the same critique I had with Corey. I want to see who you are as a queen. I don't want to see you put on someone else's shit. And Corey, I love you, but all I've seen so far, and I'm seeing in like images and pictures on other places, is you kind of like doing things of other things. Like you're Lois Griffin, you're playing Susie Toot, you're doing this, that, and the other. Like it just like, who are you as a queen?
Right.
That's going to make me want to be interested in you and make me want to see you again. Lana, I have enough faith in that, as we've been saying, like give her some time, give her some, a couple of years or something like that to really cook in who and what she is.
Right.
I'd be very interested to see what she does. But I do feel like we have to be really careful about when we're literally taking something from another girl and just like plastering it on our bodies and not doing anything with it.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Gary.
So this just really got under my skin. This is from the CUNT monologues.
Mm-hmm.
Rue made a comment, I think during judges panel. It was like it was critiques, it was feedback. And she made a comment about how they missed the comic lunacy prompt. Comedic lunacy being the keywords.
Mm-hmm.
And that really got under my skin because I was like, was that the prompt? Because only one duo out of the 3 seemed to get it. And honestly, only one of the 6 absolutely for certain got it.
Right.
So, like, I'm a little confused on where this fell apart or got misunderstood. Because there's a part of me that wonders if how production communicated things just wasn't very clear or something changed. I just don't know. It was strange.
Well, so I'm looking at so I wrote down the original, like the prompts that they pulled out of the hat, or not the box. And let's see, it was out of this world, learned at the hard way, lost, triggered, payback's a bitch, and obsessed.
Mm-hmm.
So with those being the quote unquote prompts, and Rue describing them in the when they pulled them out each individually,
right?
How were these? I could see where a couple of them could potentially be taken and put into like the comedic lunacy aspect of it. But learned at the hard way, maybe not. Lost, I don't know. I mean, I could see you getting like, I lost my way to the Trick's house, like if you wanted to go like that route. But like, and then payback, like to me, payback's a bitch. Like that has the potential to be funny depending on what you take the prompt as.
Right.
So again, like I agree with you. I wonder was something sent or missed or pushed in it like by production that was missed, or was this information not given at all?
Right.
Because again, when a majority, like that's the part. When a majority of the people go to that like more heartfelt, sincere moment and tell their stories in that way, maybe something wasn't connected. Something wasn't given that would have given, like, I need you to be funny.
Right.
And I understand, we all understand, like, Rue loves to laugh, but this may have been a prompt that they were told, like, oh, we want you to be a little bit more sincere, serious, whatever.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It was just, it was strange.
It was.
I didn't quite understand why Rue critiqued them and said it like that. So I felt lost about that, you know?
Where am I?
Yeah.
I'm going to say that every time. I'm just going to say it every time.
Oh, girl.
Speaking of where we are.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the show. There's obviously plenty to be said about, you know, what happened and what's going on and what comes next. We've already been speculating on that. Who knows? I thought there were 2 episodes. Could be 3. Could be 4. Not really sure. So yeah, and I haven't really seen anything online. Then again, I haven't been searching out to gauge what's happening. But yeah, if there are 3 more episodes, we're looking at airing on April 4th, April 11th. Now, technically, April 18th is Good Friday. So I don't know if they're going to skip over that weekend and then go for April 25th, which, I mean, they could. So they could have a regular episode on the 4th, the reunion on the 11th, skip a week, and then get to the finale on the 25th.
Yeah.
Or if there are 4 more episodes, they could just plow straight through and do 4, 11, 18, 25.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But that being said, let us know what your thoughts and theories are. There's plenty of ways to do that. You can go to cubsoutloud.com, leave a comment on our blog there. You can send us an email, cubsoutloud@gmail.com. You can leave us a voicemail. Call 361-COL-TALK. That's 361-265-8255. You can also, find us on social media. Type in Cubs Out Loud for that specific purpose. If you want to join our entourage chat about Cubs Out Loud Drag Race specifically, you can go to tinyurl.com/telegram-COLDR to know when we're going to be airing the live regular episodes, usually on Sunday evenings, East Coast time. We're going to be online. You can find tinyurl.com/calendar-COL to see what those topics and times are going to be. You can also support us in several ways. You can go to Zazzle.com/CubsOutLoud and buy different accoutrements, as we like to say, of items that are available. That can include the Cubs Out Loud Drag Race iconography items, such as a coffee mug. When you want to sip that tea, you can also get different apparel items. Like I happen to be wearing the Consent is My Foreplay. Damon happens to be wearing the logo shirt. So lots of different things you can do. You can also become a patron at patreon.com/CubsOutLoud for $1 or more a month. You get the full versions of these episodes unedited with what we call the pre and post show, the bookends. You can also just make a donation one time, leave us a tip, go to paypal.me/CubsOutLoud and help us keep the lights on, as we like to say. With that being said, you can find Cubs Out Loud Drag Race as its own podcast feed for the RSS out there. So any podcast player you're listening to, could be Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, all that jazz. You should find us there. Damon, if people would like to get in touch with you, how would they do so?
If you wish to get in touch with me, you can find me as TheaterCub79. That's TheaterCub79 on most beer-related sites. Or you can find me as Pup_Umber on one site, or Pup_Umber79 on Blue Sky. Blue Sky and the other site are not safe for work. For the safe for work stuff, you want to go to DMAGamer79 on TikTok, Blue Sky, and the other site.
Nice.
Gary?
If you would like to get in touch with me, you can pretty much find me anywhere online as Gabriel73. I just realized I should update the document because I'm not on that platform anymore where I had the infamous Gabriel73 drag account, because that's where I was sequestering all those things. So yeah, I don't really know. I've been very blessed. I am on Blue Sky and nobody's really spoiling it on there. So I love the fact that it doesn't really have an algorithm that's like trying to drive content at me. It's just recent. Like it's just kind of the most recent stuff. And so if I don't happen to be on there on the night or the morning after when there's a show that airs, then I kind of don't know things. So we'll see what happens if I get spoiled when we get to the finale night. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do about that. Anyways, with that being said, I want to thank you all for joining us, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks, and we'll see how much closer we get to the finale of the show. I don't know.
Who knows, baby?
Yeah,
who knows?
Hard to say. Something will happen. Until then, bye. All right.